Okay, let me explain something. God created mankind, and there was a lot of sin and corruption that came forth, okay, after the fall of man, after sin had entered the human race. So God determined to raise up a physical people on the earth. His people. He was going to start a different type of people. So he called a man by the name of Abram, who later became Abraham. He called this man and he said, I'm going to use you to, I want to enter into a covenant with you, and I want to get something else happening here on the earth that I want to be able to purpose to be my people. So Abram believed God, okay? And in between him and his wife, Sarah, okay, they ended up, God promised them a child even in their old age. I mean, Abraham was like, 100 years old, and Sarah's like 90. I mean, way past the age of childbirth, but God, in a miracle, brings forth their promised son, Isaac. Okay, so Isaac comes forth, and we know that then Isaac then he then had Jacob, and then Jacob became Israel, who gave birth to the 12 tribes, and we have a whole nation that came forth as a result of God purposing to have a physical people on this earth. A physical people on this earth that God would bless. Okay? That was His people. So that's what God has done. And we can see the hand of God upon these physical people, who God took and set them in a location. You're thinking, well, now, if you're going to have a people, where would you think? Maybe you could isolate them somewhere. Now, we're not going to do that. We're going to put them right in the middle of the Middle East. We got the Middle East, and you're going to be in the middle of the Middle East. And everybody around you is going to absolutely hate you. And you are going to be absolutely surrounded and greatly outnumbered by every one of your enemies. But God said, but in spite of that, not only that, the land I'm going to give you is basically going to be a desert. So I'm going to stick you in the middle of a dry land that's a big desert, and I'm going to surround you with everybody that hates you, and in the midst of that, I am going to pour my blessings on you like no other. I'm going to prosper you. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless your land. I'm going to, how many, does this sound familiar? God says, I prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Your cup is going to run over. And God has taken the nation of Israel, and He has called them His people, and He has blessed them abundantly more and prospered them and just stuck them right there and just said that, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to protect you. I'm going to show you that you can live and dwell right there, and it doesn't matter. They can plot, they can scheme, they can do anything they want. They can vow to annihilate you, but it's not going to happen. They can take their armies and plot and scheme and come up and say, we're going to attack from all sides unexpectedly, and we're going to come in and we're just going to wipe you right off the map. And in 6 days, the whole thing was called the 6-Day War, 1967. Israel completely drove them all out of there in 6 days. Unbelievable. It's just a miraculous thing. And this is what God did with this physical people. But God said, that's not my ultimate plan. Because, see, I don't want just the physical people on the earth representing me. I need a spiritual people. So I took a man by the name of Abraham, and I raised up a nation physically, but I took my own son so that I could raise up another nation, so that I can raise up not a physical nation, but I want to raise up a spiritual nation on this earth, and now I'm going to have to take my own son to do that. So God, in a new covenant, came and said, I'm going to cut another covenant, and I'm going to make this covenant with my own son, so that he can reproduce according to my promises, so that I can have a people on the earth that can dominate, not physically, but spiritually. A people on the earth that doesn't dominate all other physical people, but a people on the earth that can dominate all spirit beings. A people on the earth that can take authority over every plan and scheme and plot of the enemy that will come against. Everything that's not of flesh and blood. Because our spiritual warfare is not against flesh and blood. He said, I'm going to have a people that can cast demons out like my son did. I'm going to have a people that can lay hands on the sick. I'm going to have a people that's going to reproduce my very being and be the light of this earth. A people that I can send into dark places, a people that I can count on that can do that through my son. They're going to represent me. That's the church.